Hello everybody, One Piece chapter 1007 is out, and as we always do, we will be reviewing everything, going a bit more detail and giving out more fleshed out thoughts on the chapter, given, the proper translation is out, the official translation I should say is out. And I think the first thing I should just say is that there are parts that I didn't enjoy quite as much, especially with Queen's dialogue in this chapter. I think I preferred the, fan translation that we got a couple of days ago compared to the official. But as far as I can tell, there are no major differences or anything like that, that need to be revised in terms of how we thought about stuff, except for probably one moment in particular. And that is at the end of the chapter, and so that's what we'll get into first. But before we do, please, if you haven't already, please subscribe, hit that red button. Just hitting that little red button goes a long way on this channel, so please do so. But like I was saying, at the end of the chapter, the classic thing that everyone has been talking about all weekend is who, how, why. And I think I'm not even going to go into the fact that it's not Odin, because I think that is so clear, the fact that it is not Odin. But who could it be? Initially I want to speculate something related to Momo, because that was what happened right before this scene. We had a scene with Momo and them talking about this devil fruit. I didn't even realize that we hadn't officially gotten the fact that it was, experimentation on Kaido that led to this fruit being created. I just kind of assumed that was, the truth, but it's just great to get it officially out there and said, by Oda that's where this fruit comes from. I'm guessing it will have, more significance, especially if CP0 finds out, if the Beast Pirates finally see it and, see that this is Momo. But for now, we just meant to know that this is going to be major soon. Now, coming back again to what happened here, this Odin, is this not Odin? I'm going to say that, thinking that it has to do with Momo and Yamato together, I'm going to push that down to option number 3. Option number 1 being Yukimaru, option number 2 being the Tanuki that we saw back in chapter 911. And I think the next couple of chapters after that. But yeah, the Tanuki that ate, that transforms, right? Tama and Hitetsu's Tanuki. So that is number 2, and number 1 being Yukimaru, because it just makes sense. We know he's able to transform. This number 2 and 3 with the Tanuki and Momo, that's just speculative of being able to transform. But someone who we've actually seen transform is Yukimaru. It also makes sense as to some of the differences in Odin's appearance that some people have thrown out there, but I think that makes the most sense overall, I would feel. Also, given the fact this one line that is slightly different in this one, where Kawamatsu's like, I thought I was dreaming because it couldn't have been that person, right? Referring to that person who we were speculating about a couple of chapters ago in that silhouette, who seemed to have a long ear, or is it hair strands? What was going on? I'm assuming, based on Kawamatsu's line, what makes the most sense to me, and bear with me here people, is that it was Yukimaru as well, just transformed into a different person, into Toki, right? Because I think that, in order to help them and everything, transforming to someone who they are familiar with would make sense. That's why Kawamatsu wouldn't believe it. And then coming back in here as Odin to kind of like rally them up and, get everyone motivated, because the Alliance was also getting beaten. They seem like they need motivation, although really why they're here, I feel like we fully won't understand it, even if we guess the correct person, probably until the next couple of chapters. Because even if it's motivation, right, to see someone who you thought was dead, it does a little, more than just motivate. It confuses, it just messes with their brain, right? But like I was saying, Yukimaru makes the most sense, right? Transforming as both characters there. But I do think that it still leaves possibility that Hiyori is here as well, because Yukimaru was with Hiyori in Ringo. That's where they left her until after the battle, so they could, meet and reunite all together. But I think, Yukimaru could have come with Hyori, but it's just we haven't seen Hyori yet. Oda was teasing that silhouette might have been Hyori, but it wasn't at all. It was probably Toki, or maybe Kawamatsu just thought it was Toki because he was dazed and he was really out of it, and she kind of looked like Toki when he was in that condition. And of course he wouldn't think it's Hyori because he knows full well that Hyori is back in Ringo. There's no way that she's here. So yeah, maybe he's just out of it. But for now, I'll say Hyori's here. We haven't seen her. This Oden and the silhouette was Yukimaru just transformed into people that these guys are more comfortable with and know about, in order not to really, throw them off as like, there's a dog here. So I'm yet to see where this is going, but I'm sure that whatever it is, it's going to be related to something that Oda's already kind of shown to us or explained kind of or set up before. It will just make so much sense once we get it. So I'm not going to think too much about it. Another part of this chapter that makes me want to talk about other stuff as well is the Momo aspect, right? The whole fact that, now we have CP0 talking about the fact that Momo's fruit, is a big deal in the world, right? And this just further, solidifies for me Momo not staying in Wano after the whole raid and Kaido and this whole arc finishes, right? Because one, now like there's three main reasons, right? Without having to go too far into it, because that could be its own video. Is one, Momo and his own character arc, he's not a leader. He's not yet there, and staying in Wano where everyone keeps babying him and treating him like he's amazing even though he's not, is not going to help him grow into the person he needs to become. And as much as he will grow over the course of this war, I don't think he will become a leader by the end of it, right? So him going with Straw Hats makes sense for him to continue growing, just like Oden did and became a great person for going out there, right? It was actually said that he came back better than he left. So that makes sense. The fact that he has the thing going on with Zunisha, right? Staying in Wano doesn't really make sense for that. So there's that. And there's the fact that the world government is not going to just sit once, they see this going on, with CP0 sees this going on. Like Momo can't just sit and stay in Wano. That's, a danger to Wano, and kind of like inviting the Marines to just, attack this place. So now we have three reasons kind of, about Momo leaving. But apart from that, let's continue. Let's see what's going on, because there's a line as well. There's just lines here and there that make me think of other stuff. But there's a line here where they're running through, and Yamato mentions that there's always a spacious place under the roof on each floor. And I wonder what significance that has. I think this is just like 4 pages for the end where Momo transformed. She mentions this, and it's kind of like offhanded. Is she just trying to say that, okay, there's a spacious place, so Momo, how are you doing back there? Because it's not spacious back there. But it just feels like an offhand comment which might have relevance later, kind of saying that, oh, there's, on every floor there's a spacious part, so you can obviously get to the rooftop really quickly from any floor, or get from the rooftop down to any floor really quickly. So I'm not sure what the significance of that is, but just a note to self that may play in a role for some people going to the rooftop or coming from the rooftop. I'm not sure which one. But the other major thing we have going on this chapter is the Chopper moment and everything going on with Chopper, because it's always great to see Chopper. And, if you don't love Chopper, that's kind of a you problem. Now, I do understand that this Chopper moment was not as great as it could have been. Because it just kind of seemed like this problem has dragged on long enough, and the solution to it was not what it could have been, or what it should have been, right? Because if it was kind of it's kind of like we've been counting down to this, and even the moment in which it happens, it seems like we could have had better build up to this one moment where he's saving Hyogoro, because it just seems like this moment dragged on forever till he came, kind of almost saying that it's inevitably going to happen rather than surprising us rather. And it seems that, even the way the solution was done, it's kind of like, oh yeah, I have the solution. Of course, everything with the symbolism is great, but I just feel like, for the solution and how it panned out, it would have been better if it came more sudden and less of we just sitting here waiting for this to happen, because this is dragging on a bit longer than it should. Let it happen right now. I just think that it would have been better that way, but I'm not going to doubt this is a great Chopper moment. We'll let him get the W undoubtedly in this chapter. He did great as far as medical knowledge. He did great. He did this all on his own, right? Like back there, Miyagi and Tristan were literally just helping him along. They were not really doing anything as far as we could tell. He did this on his own. Queen even mentioned that this is his magnum opus. This is his greatest ability or greatest creation ever. And, you know, Chopper has kind of just outdone him, right? In, you know, what seems to be an hour or so, right? Like less than an hour maybe, or just over an hour, round about an hour, right? He's outdone Queen's life's work. So no doubt for Chopper, right off the bat, that is a W. Of course, talking about the symbolism in the shape of, you know, his solution, the fact that it, again, looks like you know, the death and the mushroom cloud, but again, looks like the tree, reminds me of, Hiruluk and, you know, what he wanted as the cure for, you know, humanity and everything that humanity faces, the all-purpose cure, right? And the tree that was, you know, created at the end of Drum Island arc with the canon once again. I'm interested to see what color this would come out in the anime. So, I just think it's a great moment, you know. I think it only suffered from the, you know, fact that it kept feeling like it was dragging on. But as a result of this, everything that Chopper did, you know, they've now gained the help of the waiters and the pleasures, right? And this is a big deal, guys. This is a big deal. Like, if you've, you know, really heard me talk about the Beast Pirates and their makeup, you've heard me say this a bunch of times, that most of the Beast Pirates are just waiters. Most of them, right? Because you minus, you know, the top brass, and at the end of the day, you really get that the most of the crew is made out of gifters, waiters, pleasures, right? Of this 20,000 people. But anyway, let me just give you a whole breakdown of the numbers as it seems right now. Of course, you know, I think at some point Oda will give us like actual numbers, but as it seems right now, Hyogoro has taken down most of the captains of the Mimawari Gumi and Oniwabanshu, right? That means those guys were, you know, 5,000 Mimawari Gumi, 5,000 Oniwabanshu, making 10,000 of the 30,000 enemies. Hyogoro taking down most of these guys means that, wow, that's like almost 10k people, right? That is absolutely crazy. But that's most of those guys gone. So we're talking about the 20,000 Beast Pirates is what we're focused on right now. Okay. Now, if you minus the special forces, and I'll get into the special forces right soon, the All-Stars and Kaido, the rest of the crew is made out of gifters, waiters, and pleasures, right? About 500 gifters was mentioned, you know, in those chapters where Zoro was fighting the gifters right before the raid officially started. That would mean, you know, 1 in 10 mean overall gifters and pleasures together like 5,000, right? Of the 20,000 mean that the rest are pleasures, because the special forces, Kaido and the All-Stars, they're not really that many, right? Maybe 200 max. So almost 15,000 waiters, right? And of course, I know it's not going to be just switching numbers just like that, because of course some people have gone down, but the numbers are now on the Alliance's side after this chapter, 100%. Of course, you know, power and the officers and how strong they are, that is going to be a big issue. But as far as numbers on paper, the Alliance is in the lead, right? Which makes me think that with such a turn of events, maybe the big man pirates coming in will be, you know, a very big thing that is kind of needed to keep the interest in the war going, right? So maybe the big man pirates arrive soon. But yeah, what I meant about the special forces left on Kaido's crew, you know, of the people we have to fight right now, is Kaido, the All-Stars. Special forces include stuff like the Toby Robo, who there are only 5 of because X-Drake defected. You've got stuff like Black Maria's people who are under her, the Armored Corps who are under him, who's cat people. You've got the Marys, you know, the numbers, some of these special forces within. But even as we number those people, they're not that many, right? That's why I say up to 200 combined, right? Kaido, All-Stars, these special units, right? 200, you could see that being possible, right? So around 200 enemies left, and it seems like the war, you know, as far as numbers, is done. It's more just about defeating the bad guys, which, you know, either means that we're going to be wrapping up soon and getting into the end game really soon, or we may have, you know, an extended thing in which, you know, the big mom pirates actually do make it up and they do show up, which just throws everything that we've built into utter chaos even more, right? Or maybe CP0 will make a move, which kind of throws everything even out of whack once again, because I think that, you know, Onigashima seems like it's far from just, now it's time to versus the big, you know, the main bosses and that's done. It seems like it's far from that. It seems like there's more to go. So having new guys come into the arc and, you know, start fighting would make sense. But as for the fights that we will have right now, I don't know why, you know, like I said in my, you know, initial reactions, Chopper versus Queen, I'm all for that, right? I know like some people don't think it's possible once again, but ask yourself this, where is Chopper going, right? He's not going to fight, like, think about it like this. Next chapter, you say Chopper is not going to fight Queen. So what's he going to do? He's just going to, like, you know, remove his transformation, then walk away to where? Like, why would he leave? For what purpose, right? Everything in this live floor has been building up to Chopper fighting against Queen. Now, I'm not saying he's going to do it alone, but I'm talking about Chopper fighting against Queen as a matchup, because people like matchups that make sense. It makes no sense for Chopper to fight anyone else in the whole of Onigashima, right? Chopper has nothing to do with anyone else other than Queen himself, right? Everything from the Ice Oni stuff to messing with each other's devil fruits, which are Zoans. It just makes too much sense for it not to happen, right? And then people want to say that, no, it's not going to happen. He's going to fight someone else, but they don't know who or why, right? When there's a clear matchup right in front of them. Now, again, to this, it doesn't have to be alone. He doesn't have to do this on his own. He can get help, right? And not everything has to be one-on-one. It can be, you know, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, right? And then it change, you know, the way the battle goes would change and develop. You know, if Hyogoro still is able to tap into that power that he was talking about, and, you know, he may possibly die still for doing so, but he could help and have Hyogoro and Chopper versus Queen. That's definitely very possible. Still, we don't know where Sanji's going. He could come and help Chopper fight Queen. That is still a possibility. But at the end of the day, I do believe Chopper will fight Queen and get help doing so. He won't do it on his own. It's fine. Also, you know, so yeah, that's it. I'm not going to talk any more about that. But overall, guys, these are my thoughts on this chapter. Don't forget to let me know what you guys think, how you feel about everything that happened. If I missed something, if I said something wrong, if I forgot a possibility, which is like staring us all in the face, let me know, you guys. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe for more content. If you know someone who needs to hear the truth, please share this video with them. If you have time, watch one of my other videos. If not, thank you for watching this video thus far, guys. It's King KZ. I'll see you in the next one.